Welcome back, everyone. Happy Wednesday. We are excited to bring you some more fabulous content this week. We have excellent guests. Pavan, would you like to introduce our special guest today?
Our special guest is Dr. Nancy Bayat, expert academician and mortgage pro. I'm just kidding about the doctor
Yeah.
part of it, but she is an expert, top producer in the country. And when I heard her story, I was like, I've got to get Nancy's story out to everybody. And I credit a lot of her success to her DNA. So I'm sorry, you all. Sometimes it is DNA. Sometimes you get to the top, it is DNA, and it's like it comes from when I heard the story about her dad, and her dad has got like these huge titanium elephant balls. I mean, and I know this is normally a family show, but I'm going to digress this time just a little bit because the story is so impressive, and she's got that same DNA, and that just makes her into a take no prisoners fighter, like get the job done kind of person she is. And if there's anything you take away from today's podcast is let some of that DNA rub off on you virtually and get that same energy, get that same excitement, get that same motivation that Nancy has, that never give up and whatever it takes, get the job done. And you will learn how to become a top producer and successful in any market because Nancy she cranks. Doesn't matter what the rates are up, rates are down, inventory's low, inventory's high. She don't care. It's all opportunity. So tell us a little bit about your dad and your remarkable story.
Thank you. Thank you. I will. It's great talking to you as always. My dad was a fighter pilot in the Iran Air Force before Iran was what it is now, in the era of the Shah, the King of Iran. And when the country was, or when the government was overthrown, there was a group of pilots that went off and, started a coup to kind of take the Ayatollah Khomeini out. And they were amongst generals and various ranks in the military. And at one point, they had located where the Ayatollah was, and he was kind of nested in this mountain where other air forces and other military couldn't get to him. So they came up with a plan with the Air Force division that they were going to bomb the home where he was in, but they couldn't bomb it because the signals would go off or something like that, something to that effect. So they had to actually drive the plane directly into the home, and they picked straws on who was going to do it. And of course, there was a spy within that group, and it never happened because we had to flee because he was wanted dead actually. So my dad left first, and then my mom and my sister and I followed. I was maybe 3 years old. My sister was like one and a half. And we left by foot over the mountains of Pakistan to get to safety. And I remember my mom telling us when planes would fly by, because we had like a handler, somebody was taking us over. Every time a security plane would fly by, we'd curl into balls, and it was like a game. She'd rub like mud on our faces and put like sticks in our hair. And looking back at that now, it's like, wow, what a strong woman. So I don't only have a really, strong and kind of ballsy dad, I also have an amazingly strong woman to take like two toddlers, right? Like by foot in the middle of the night, make it a game, and get us to safety. So I think, some of it is DNA, and I think another is a choice. Right? We all have a choice every day. You wake up, you have a choice. You're either going to win or you're not. For me, it's not it's not an option. I'm only here to win. And I don't look at it from a standpoint of, being number one. it just follows when you care about your clients, when you care about your teammates, and it just follows, because that's what successful people do. It's the client first. It's my team second, right? Their success matters to me. So if I put that same energy into it, of course I'm going to win. There's no other option. I can only win.
And if anyone comes in her way of winning, she will slice you to pieces.
I love to
She'll
learn.
fly a jet right into your house.
Fly a jet. Don't make me get my jet out. Yeah, really. Yeah, so I think it's DNA to some degree, but I think it's also a choice, right? Every day we wake up, we're faced with a choice. What are you going to do with your time today? We all have the same 24 hours in a day, right? So I one of the things that I also speak about a lot on podcasts and different, when I'm being interviewed, is time blocking. I think that that's really changed my game. And because as loan officers or leaders, we're pulled in very many different directions. So to kind of keep that laser focus and just stay present, we're always thinking about, oh, the file that didn't go yet, or what's coming next. If you just stop and calm all that, you only do what you're supposed to do during that time. How much more effective and efficient can you be?
Yeah, it's like my top producer, May Mackey. I mean, she herself can close her whole pipeline if I just let her close it. She could do thousands of
Right.
loans herself. And if you ask her the same question, like, how do you do it? Why are you so fast? She's like, well, just one loan, one document, one issue at a time. I don't worry about it. I don't stop and look at how big the pile is. I just do what is in front of me as fast as possible, and then the next one and the next one. And before you know it, all the work is done.
Right.
So don't stress out about how big a mountain you got to climb, and you literally climb mountains for safety, right? You just focus on the next step, what you got to do at this moment to survive, to make money. In your case, it was survival when you were a kid.
Right.
Now it's business survival. It's a different kind of survival.
Right.
And in business, if you're not growing, you're not surviving.
100%. And if you're not, I feel like the people that pivot the fastest tend to win too. Right? How flexible are you? How ready are you for change? Right? The people that are like scared of AI, for example, I don't understand it. Like, it's coming, it's here. So you can either embrace it and get to know it really well and be its best friend, or you're going to be left in the dust. Right? So it's that whole mentality of just wanting to learn, being a sponge, but also being rigid in your value system. And what is the most important thing in the day? That's what I do first. A lot of the times it's restructures, because that's what's hardest for loan officers, right? Where to put the file, how to structure the file. That's what sets a great loan officer, I think, from an average one. If everything else is equal, and they have the same technology, and they have the same same systems and everything else, what sets them apart is their ability to structure a file right. That makes or breaks the deal sometimes, and for optimum speed.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's important too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, what they do is usually the most important thing you have to do, and the first thing you should do every day, is probably the thing you least want to do.
100%. Yeah.
It's probably the biggest problem, the biggest headache.
Right.
And then what happens is you end up putting that off, and then a deal blows up in your face or something, or you get an upset customer or upset realtor and so forth. So tell us a little bit about your team, the size of your team, and what your focus is, and how do you generate business?
Yeah. So I have a team of 48. We're at 48 now. Team members between assistants, loan officers, processors, junior processors, and then my partner and I. We market using direct mail, and we buy some internet leads, just to kind of sprinkle a few in there, just to kind of keep them humble, because direct mail is really expensive. I think the biggest struggle for any team is always marketing and retention. I think those are the two things that, as a leader, if you hone in on and really kind of get down, I think that will lead to success. I think another big thing is fragmented technology, right? So you have this platform that does this part of it, the task, and then you have a different system that does something else, and now you have to get them to all be integrated and talk to each other. So I think fragmented technology is also an issue. So you kind of have to be in the know and be in a lot of demos to see what kind of technology will fit that hole, so to speak, in your workflow.
Yeah.
So I spend about, I'd say, 30% of my day with my team, and the rest I'm originating and prospecting or learning.
Gotcha. And how do you decide? I mean, let's face it, not everyone fits in the team.
Right.
And how do you make that decision of who stays, who makes the tryouts and who doesn't make the tryouts?
It's little things like mentality to me. I have loan officers because, we're a remote branch, and a lot of them are independent contractors in various states. So, they're like, oh, I really like control and I want to process my file. That type of loan officer is not the right loan officer for my team, because that's not the way that we're set up. I let everyone do what they do best, right? Could I process a file? Absolutely. Could I, order payoffs and do all that? Of course I can. Is that the best use of my time? Absolutely not. The time it takes me to process one file, I'll bring in 3 more. So salespeople or people that don't have that same mentality, I can't lead them to success, and I won't fail, so they can't be on my team because I won't accept failure, right? Like, that's just how it works. Like, I can't. It's just the mentality of like, what do you want to do most? Do you want to be a processor? We can make you a processor if that's what you enjoy, but if you're in sales, you have to do sales.
Gotcha. So when you interview somebody for sales, what do you look for?
I look for their likability, because that's also really important in sales, right? You have to be likable. Of course, their knowledge, because again, we are remote. New loan officers don't work in my ecosystem. It could work. It would just take a lot more of my time, which I'm too busy to give. I've considered bringing on a trainer and bringing on some new people, but haven't been able to find the right fit for that yet, because I feel like I'm missing an untapped kind of area. But what I really look for is somebody that has a fighter mentality, somebody that isn't afraid of hard work, someone who wants to make money, who wants to provide great service, someone I like.
Yeah. How long after you interview somebody, how long does it take you to finish the tryouts, to say, you know what, I made the right decision in the interview, but this person is a fit or this person isn't a fit?
It normally takes me a few days. And I was on ZipRecruiter in different, places back in, I feel like 2020, end of 2022, just because I felt like, rates were going to get better before they did. So I wanted to kind of, hire again. And as a salesperson, you could tell talking to another salesperson what's going on. And we have technology. You just go on MMI and you pull them up for the last 14 months. You can see what they did and if that matched up with the story they told. And I'm not against a good storyteller. So if the story was compelling, right? If it sounded legit and, they were off by maybe a few million, sure, it's not so much about the numbers for me as it is for hard work, because I feel like hard work will win every single time. Maybe they were somewhere where they were being fed, or maybe, they had 5 assistants and aren't sharing that with me now. So it's not always looking back saying, oh, this is a good loan officer, a bad loan officer based on production. I don't believe that, but I can tell by talking to someone, and I have like long conversations with them. I'll talk to them for like an hour.
And are you recruiting right now? Or are you adding more loan officers?
Yes, I'm always adding more loan officers with experience that want to make money, whether they want to self-generate or want branch generated deals from me. Either way, I'm always looking to surround myself with winners, because it makes me better, for sure, always.
Well, how does somebody get a hold of you?
They can go on my LinkedIn. They can go on any of my websites, amerifi.com, Nancy Bayat. My LinkedIn is Nancy Bayat. If you search Nancy Bayat in Google, there's lots of ways to reach me.
Gotcha. And it's AmeriFi, AMERIFY.com.
Yes.
Excellent. And when you see a loan officer, you see them that you hire somebody, you see they have the talent, they have the ability, but they're not quite, somehow it's not delivering, right? What are the common mistakes you see them make, and how do you coach them past those so that they go from, not making it to making it?
I think time blocking will make everything apparent. If they time block their calendar and stick to their schedule, and we could share a calendar. I've done that with a loan officer where he had too much free time, right? He'd work an hour and then take 30 minutes off. He felt he was more productive, but at the end of the day, and he was one of the best, he was an excellent loan officer, like excellent. So good on the phone. But he just wasn't managing his time right? So my time block, for example, is my calendar is all color coded, and I just use like Office, right? It's Outlook. It's nothing. I don't have like a special program or anything for it. So what I do is I'll have sales in green. My team is like in blue. Free time is in like an orange color. And I can quickly see, looking back on a single month, how much time did I spend selling? How much time was private? And how much time was I leading? Right? So I can look at it from a monthly glance. And then I turn every submission into yellow. Every pitch that I don't get is in red. So I can look back at a month and say, okay, there's 5 red and there's X amount of yellow. That's a pretty good month. How much is green? You could just, you don't need a software to tell you that. It's so easy. It's so easy. And I think another huge thing for successful, I think what sets me apart from other loan officers, honestly, is my ability to follow up. I will follow up until one of us dies. Like I am following up forever.
You remind me of that line from Wolf of Wall Street. Until they either buy or they die.
Yeah, one of us. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't take no for an answer. And it's no right now. I'll put them on different kind of drip campaigns. I'll put them on like something like a HomeBot where I'll send them, updates on what their house is worth or their walkability score and different little cool things that I find. I have a list of people that I've been doing this 23 years, that I still don't have, that I still haven't done a loan for, but I got their name and number at some point, an email, and I still will call. I still will, they're on some kind of a drip campaign. And you'd be amazed. I've had a client, I've more than hundreds of clients that have responded just because I didn't give up. Yes. More than 100. Yeah.
Yeah. Each contact is gold. You got to constantly stay.
At some point I paid for it. At some point I spoke to them. So they're in my ecosystem, right? I'm like a mini little rocket. I want to keep them forever. So I think that's another thing that sets loan officers apart.
Nice. Cool.
Follow up, because for loan officers, it's really hard to remember who they talked to last week, right? We talked to so many people. So if you don't have a system for that, are you just waiting for them to call you back? Because if I reach that client after you and you actually triggered it and I contact them after you, the likelihood that you're going to get them back is not high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of a rate rally. 10-year went down to 350 and now it's back up to 4 something. I don't even know what the latest is today. It's kind of ugly.
Yeah.
So it was a little exciting, in end of December, early January, like, woo, here we go. Here we go. And then the bubble burst.
I know. We spent 50 grand on marketing. We were just like, it's here. We've been waiting. Like you're just, parched, just ready to go. And we missed a ton of calls. We did way too much mail, but it's fine. They called us. I have their number, so we'll get them somehow. We'll get them back. But yeah, it was fun.
Well, the next time when you do a ton of marketing, and we've done this. I'm putting my SunWest hat on. I'll take my AngelAi hat
Yeah.
off and
Yeah,
put my
yeah.
SunWest hat on.
Yes. Seriously.
We've done this with many clients. Is when you make the marketing investment and you see that the rates are in the money, you can take a forward lock with us, so you can lock that in.
Oh,
Yes.
forward lock. So
Right.
based on volume, or how do you forward
Yeah,
lock?
you just say like you're spending $50,000 and you expect to close 10 million out of it based on where the rates are. So you
Yeah.
say, okay, well, give me a commitment for $10 million. And
Okay.
yes. So
That's cool.
you have to fill that in. Now, if you don't fill it in, let's because there's a risk, obviously.
Right.
Rates can get
Right.
even better and it'll be harder to fill
Right.
in. So if you don't fill it
Right.
in, you still got to fill it in somehow.
Okay.
So that it becomes a mandatory.
Mandatory commitment.
It's a mandatory commitment. So we offer essentially, but that's what the big boys do. That's what the Rockets and other big call centers do, and they have that huge advantage that over brokers like yourself,
Yeah.
because they can take those forward locks, okay,
Right.
and then play that game,
Right.
okay, and so that way when they invest $50,000 in marketing, they don't lose. The market doesn't change on them suddenly and then lose that money.
Right.
Right.
That's cool.
So, yeah. So we should have talked before you did that.
Yeah, we should have talked. Definitely. Definitely. Well, now I know. Now I
Yeah.
know. So I'm gonna be calling you.
Yeah. So we offer forward lock options in bulk. Like basically you could be like a mortgage banker, like one of the big boys,
Right.
but still as a broker.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And is the commitment by LO or by broker?
By block. So your team, right? You make the commitment with us.
Okay.
It's a $10 million commitment, and you just have to fill it somehow.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, cool. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah. Obviously, the risk is like the 10-year went to 350 and it went all the way down to 300, and that's going to be hard to fill it because now you got to still selling that rate to get it filled in. So,
Right.
and there's things then you can, we can play with margins and things like that. There's ways around it.
Okay.
But we've been trading blocks forever, and we'll walk you through the process
Okay.
where every client we've done this with, and we've done a lot of these, is the worst case scenario is you will make less profit. If the rates really rallied after you took the lock, okay, you'll fill your commitment and you won't make as much money, okay, but you'll still make money and you'll fill the commitment and then you're ready to do it again.
Right.
Right. And then what you do is so a smart trader, you never know when the bottom is either going down or going up, right? So a smart trader will take a small lock, small forward. So you lock in some of your business, right? And then as it keeps falling, you take another forward, right? So maybe, and then another one. So and then if when it starts going the other way, now you're making money. Now you're making big money because you have completion.
Right.
Okay. So you may lose if it continues to fall. You may lose on some of the smaller trades on the way down, but then you make it up on the way up.
On the way up, yeah.
Right. So as long as you think like a trader and you don't have the mentality like, oh my God, I lost on this trade, right? But if you think long term, right, and we'll teach you how that works, and if you think with a long perspective, you will not take risk, right? So you're not taking this big marketing risk, right? And you are making money, and you're gonna even out, right? Where you haven't lost.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I mean, and look, you're not in business to play the market and make money on the market movement, right? You're in business to originate loans.
Yeah.
And if you could take some of the risk off the table of originating loans, some of the market risk from originating loans, right? And that means you got to pay a price whenever you're buying insurance. Every time you buy insurance, you're paying for the insurance.
Right.
But the beauty of this business is that the rates go up, rates go down. So when you lose money when the rates are going in a certain direction, you can make it up when the rates go the other direction. So net over a long period, you'll see that your cost of insurance is near zero.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Where do you think rates are headed?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I was as excited as you were at the beginning of January, but
Yeah.
I was skeptical. I had a deep sense of skepticism because when you looked at the inflation report that they published in December or November, that drove the rates to fall, because they showed a really lower than expected inflation, right? I
Right.
forget the exact numbers, but when you look at the numbers underneath it, every item was up, right?
Mm.
Was up above the whatever the 2.5% threshold, whatever, except healthcare, right? And then they had the feds put negative 35% in healthcare. I'm like, that's BS. No freaking way. None of us saw a reduction. I mean, I challenge anyone listening to this say, yeah, my healthcare costs went down 35% last year.
No
No
way.
freaking way, right?
Yeah.
And that's what, so the blended number made the inflation look low, right? So it had a good end of year feeling, and that caused a rally. A lot of people didn't look at the data, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't keep covering it up, and obviously it's going to unwind. So that's what we're seeing. It's unwinding, right?
I thought they were just printing money. They're just printing endless money because how else is it possible? For inflation numbers to go down, rates to kind of go up again.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the Feds just, for whatever reason, they wanted the markets to feel good before the end of the year. We had a rally, and now that is unwinding. I haven't looked at the latest inflation numbers. I haven't looked underneath the latest inflation numbers to see if they still mucked around with the numbers. But the first thing you should do when you get the inflation report, if you want to know which way it's going to go, don't look at the headline number. It's all public. You open it up on the Federal Reserve website. Look at the numbers behind the number, and see, and just if you just eyeball it and you see if anything is exceptional,
Right.
something doesn't sound right. Then you got to figure. Then you got to ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Right.
Of course, you went in and looked at the data. Everyone else just saw, oh, inflation's down. Yay, let's party.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
But of course, Pavan would go in and look at the data behind the data.
Right. Well, that's how you manage a huge pipeline. We have a massive position. You got to look at the data. We have, I don't know, our engine looks at like 1,000 different data points continuously in real time and adjusts our position accordingly. So we have our own proprietary hedging engine that makes micro decisions on our position. But that's the only way you can do it too. This is a market. I mean, you're seeing things move like a point, half a point in a day or two, right? You can, without a high-speed AI engine analyzing your trades, I mean, you'd lose your ass.
Yeah, easily. Yeah, with the swings we've had.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a lot of bankers right now that have lost a lot of money. Just they could do everything right, but by using traditional hedging models, right? Traditional hedging models from the traditional hedging providers, they're not designed for this kind of volatility.
Right.
Right. Between that and trade and mortgage bankers get filled up with so much hope. So
totally.
Quickly.
Yeah.
So that's a dangerous combination. Traditional hedging models plus hope can cause you to make some very smart people make very bad decisions.
Right.
And,
it was fun. I wanted to come back.
Huh?
It was so fun.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I mean, I'm just as guilty. That's why David doesn't let me near the trading. He doesn't listen to anything.
Excited?
Because he knows I'm the same. As much as I understand the algorithm and I help code it and all that, right? I used to get emotional about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's gonna rally. It's gonna rally. Go, go long, David.
Go long.
Go long, David.
That's funny.
He doesn't listen to me.
He doesn't listen. Well, that works out. In this case, it works out. What's new with AngelAi?
A lot
Anyway.
of great stuff has happened. I'm sure you have seen our Super Bowl ad, and everyone
Yeah.
has.
Yeah, it was great.
We all dream of owning a home. But for too long, if you didn't fit the mold, you were stuck. Stuck because the system worked for everyone except you. We've changed that. AngelAi uses advanced AI technology to give a 100% trusted solution and fast answers for worry-free financing, allowing you to achieve fair and equal access to lending. AngelAi, AI you can bank on.
We had two Super Bowl ads back to back in 2023 and 2024. So 2023 was a introduction of the product to the world. And it was really to raise awareness and so forth. And what we saw, the result of the 2023 Super Bowl ad was in January 2023, we were adding about 10, if we're lucky, 10 new AngelAi users a month. Okay. After the Super Bowl ad, we're adding, 2,000 new AngelAi users a month.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot of money, but it does work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. And I haven't checked the latest numbers as far as new user addition, because that just played a week ago. I haven't looked at the traffic spike, but I did look at the traffic spike on our website. So we had a threefold increase in traffic to our websites, to all of our websites.
Within how much time of the Super Bowl?
Within that, when I looked at the average of the week. So
Okay.
the week after the Super Bowl versus the week before the Super Bowl is a 3-time increase.
Wow.
And based on experience last year, we saw some very similar numbers last year, before and after the ad. The traffic spike, doubled, tripled, and then it stayed there. And it stayed there the rest of the year. So now this is again multiplying. So it's like let's say we doubled last year, right? And now we're tripling on top of that, right? So you see it's really a sixfold increase, right? It's a multiplier.
Yeah,
And
that's so cool.
yeah. And then last year we did the ad, and we did localized, concentrated marketing, targeted marketing throughout the year. This year our plan is to do broad-based marketing
Nationally.
nationally. So that means that the multiplier effect will continue throughout the year. So it's going to grow exponentially now. And because the reason is my goal this year is to make AngelAi a household name. And every consumer will be going in there to say, hey, who's the best loan officer in the universe? And it'll respond, Nancy Bayat.
Can we hard code that in, please?
Right. That's the whole point of AngelAi. If people can go in there, get the financial questions answered, get their data analyzed, get information, right? And when they're ready to act and says, I need help, then one of our partners will be given that lead. And you'll get a text message saying, okay, Joe in Ohio needs help from a real fighter, a killer. Joe in Ohio says, I want to work with only a killer loan officer. And I said, poof, goes to Nancy. Nancy gets a text message. You join the conversation.
Instant text message.
Yes.
So
exactly.
you're gonna send those out to your broker partners and not your retail team?
Both. It'll be whatever it's going to run an algorithm of whatever's best match based on profile of the client. It's just like a dating site.
Wow. Wow. I'm gonna find my next husband on AngelAi. Look at this.
The focus is the customer. What does the customer need? Right? Who's closest to the customer? Who would be the best fit based on different profile characteristics? Right? It's an algorithm. It's going to say, okay, right. And unfortunately, when there's rock stars like you on the platform, you'll probably get like 90% of it. So
can't wait. If I don't get a text in a week, I'm going to be contacting you. Be like, it's broken. I haven't received a text. Just want to let you know.
So that's the big plan. That's what's going to happen this year. And along with we're rolling out a whole bunch of services, additional financial services within AngelAi. So from online banking, credit cards, signature, personal loans, auto loans,
credit
repair. Oh yeah, that's the most important. Genius.
That's what I'm so
Nancy,
excited
you
about.
are a genius.
I'm so excited about
Credit
that.
repair is on track to be
Huge.
to be rolled out early March.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
we'll be running our first beta test in March with real
Oh
customers.
my God. Can't
Right.
wait.
And it's completely free. At most that they'll have to pay for is the cost of the soft pull. If we need to pull credit, that'd be the only cost. So
Okay.
typical credit repair costs $200 a trade line. Right.
Yeah.
This would be completely free. And it will go through all the FCRA steps that are required to dispute a incorrect derogatory. As you know, in this business, a lot of times what you see is a collection from Comcast because they didn't get their cable box back or something like that. It's usually BS, right? Usually they didn't come to pick it up and then they end up digging your credit.
Right.
I mean, it's happened to me myself, right? With the Comcast box, and it was like painful fighting with those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like medical bills,
Right.
little things that are older debt that they don't see. But there's so much protection now. So it's I think that's a really cool tool because helping a client like that, they'll just remember you forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So credit repair is coming out in March, and then a whole suite of banking products is coming out this year. That's the plan. And so it's going to be completely engaging and educational. And we're encouraging everyone to go in there and just start asking questions. Try to trip it up. Ask it different kinds of financing question, home purchase questions, so forth. Because every time you trip it up and it doesn't know the answer, it learns.
Yeah. It learns it. Yeah. I use AngelAi for almost every single loan I originate now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the number one thing you do with it?
I have it calculate my income. If it's if they're tax returns, I mean, I have a calculator for it, but just to go faster.
Yeah.
I was in Vegas actually for a seminar, and I told Sam I sent in my steps to AngelAi, and I had it downloaded, send me back a application with 3.4, and then I uploaded that 3.4 into my LOS.
Yeah.
All while I was at a meeting, and it just did it. It wasn't instant, when I came back, it was ready.
Yeah, and that's the thing for people have to understand about AngelAi. It's gotten a lot better for many things now. It's instant, but for obviously more complex things like analyze a tax return or whatever, right? It's not going to be instant, but it's always right.
And it's taking it off your plate. To your point,
Exactly.
you can be at a meeting,
Right.
you can be
Right.
at Disneyland, whatever you're doing.
Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's always right that if it calculated the tax return income wrong and it gave you too much income, then I'll fund that loan anyways. I will say, hey, AngelAi gave that answer, I'll back it. And then what happens is when loan officers are smart, they'll say, well, that means you're always under calculating the income.
Yeah.
And that's what I get from loan officers. That means it's always too conservative. No, actually, quite the opposite. It's always right on the money. And I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to share my screen in a second. Give me a minute. And actually, there was a big expose that the NPR, National Public Radio, just did based on the latest data. And so can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the latest data shows the same thing. The NPR just did this analysis that Black and Hispanic decline rates are nearly double that of white decline rates. Okay, so the bar on the right is our decline rates using AngelAi. And so we have equalized the decline rates. So the Black decline rates are equal, almost identical to the nationwide white decline rates. So we've solved the problem. And you can't obviously do that if you are being over conservative on your income calculations.
Right.
The only way you can get these decline rates to drop is if you actually calculate everything right to the penny and right to the guidelines, then the decline rates drop. So that's the proof that no, it's doing it exactly to the penny, to exactly what the agency guidelines say, what the FHA guidelines say. Right? And the reason, my theory, my belief is I haven't, been inside other lenders and analyzed their loan files and so forth. But my theory is the reason these decline rates are so high on a nationwide basis is because when a lender gets a minority borrower with 5 job changes and Uber income from being an Uber driver and this and that, and it all goes onto their taxes, and it's all complicated, and there's so many W-2s to process and so forth. They'll either make a mistake in the calculations, do it wrong, or their underwriter will get so frustrated they'll find a reason to decline it and they'll just move on.
Yeah.
Right. And the reality is, and if you look at this, is we've dropped, even for the white community, we've dropped the decline rate by 30%. Right. So the reality is, so this really isn't a race thing. It is more a lifestyle thing. This is the world that we live in. Right?
Yeah.
People's financial situations are complicated. Right. And it has nothing to do with race. It just, I think it just happens that some races have more complexity in their financial structure. It doesn't make them less qualified borrowers. It just, they're less what I call vanilla, W-2 employee. They have different sources of income.
I mean, there's a huge credit problem. It's all over the news.
Oh,
Our debt. Yeah, our debt is at an all-time high.
Yes, it is.
So that's what happens with
Yeah.
hyperinflation and everything else. Yeah, this is cool.
We just
I'm
need
really excited about the credit repair.
we just need President Biden to write off all the student debt, and then we'll make all of those young people home buyers.
Yeah, yeah, right. They're like in deferment almost.
Yes. Don't take anything I say here literally about politics. There's you can, I'll leave it to the audience to figure out what is live and what is Memorex. Old reference here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nancy, are you old enough to get that reference?
Yes, I'm old enough. Too old.
I'm sure Angel isn't.
I'm too old. I think I'm older than you, Pavan.
I don't think so.
I'm not gonna say it on air, but I feel like I am. I think I might be.
With those glasses and your hair pulled back like that, maybe you're just doing that to look more academic and more sophisticated.
Well, you said it's Angel University, so I had to get, I had to play the part.
Yeah, and don't tell me you got a pocket protector underneath that sweater.
I don't, but I should have one. For the next time. I'll be ready.
Yeah, next time you're gonna wear your white lab coat.
Yeah, no, exactly, because I'm a doctor. That's right. You did say I was a doctor. But next time we have to do it live. When are you gonna be in my area next?
Well, I'm in Vegas on April 11th, and you're gonna be there for the mastermind.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see you then.
Right. We're having a 3-day mastermind event.
Yes.
And I'm running a coaching session personally for business leaders about just
sign me up.
Yeah, and specifically about the things like you have to deal with when you start getting a larger business. And there's so many right now when you're a smaller team, your whole focus is on coaching your team and marketing, right? When you get bigger, you got all these other things to worry about, like all legal and
Compliance.
HR, all compliance, and I see a lot of people, they run forward, okay, and without thinking about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Thinking about simple things like how to keep proper corporate minutes. I was actually on the phone with a realtor yesterday, and I was coaching her on, she started her own company, and I was coaching her, hey, this is how you're going to keep yourself out of trouble. These are the kind of corporate minutes you better take. She's like, oh, I never thought of that. My attorneys never told me that. Yes, they'll never tell you this because your attorneys want you to mess up so that you can hire them to get you out of the mess.
Right.
They'll only answer the question you ask them.
Right. And then bill you for it.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the kind of business coaching I'm gonna get into. The actual, it's gonna be kind of dry, right? Because it's not coaching on how to build your business, because the people who are going to be in the class are already big business leaders. Like, they already got big. You could probably teach me more about how to grow a business than how to increase market share and get more
Oh my God,
customers
yeah,
than
right.
I could teach you. But I can teach you how to take it to the next level. Like, when you have your own business, what are the problems you're going to face that no one's going to ever tell you? You can go to Harvard and they won't tell you these things. This only comes from experience.
Right.
Right.
How
So
exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
yeah, that's the attitude. Exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I love to learn.
Right. So that's what we're going to focus on, is taking your business to the next level. So it's designed for people who are already successful. You have your market, you have your teams, you already have your customers coming in, and now you want to scale it up. And there's all these things that no one ever thinks about, which ultimately are these outside risks, which end up tanking your business.
Right, because a lot of brokers are really, loan officers that were really good, that were like, I'm going to branch off and do my own thing. But they don't
Yes.
realize, some of the team leaders that I've had were not always the best salespeople. So it's a fine line of, being a leader and being a lead and being a good salesperson is not
Yeah.
always one and the same thing.
Right.
I find them to be, to correlate, because some really good salespeople can only teach their own style, where if that's not someone else's sales style, it'll never work. You can't say someone else's words if you don't really believe it.
Yes.
Right. So it's like coaching loan officers that have their own unique style of sales, but how to tweak it.
Yeah.
So something that I still do is I listen to my calls where I don't get the sale, because I want to find out what I missed. Maybe I was sending an email and didn't hear the cue where she said, what her stress point was, and I missed it. So I think and I've been doing this 23 years, so a very long time, but I still listen to calls. So I would say that that's also a really important thing, is to, listen to a good call and listen to a bad call. And a call where the client just didn't say yes it's not necessarily, it's bad for us, right? We didn't win the sale. So try to listen to it and learn from what you missed, so you can correct that mistake the next day. Don't listen at the end of the week to what you said on Monday. It's too late.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you branch off and you have your own business, right, now you have to have other skills. So you're really good at sales, you're really good at coaching your sales team, and really good at conversion. Okay. But the way you handle a customer or you handle a loan officer is not the same as how you handle a regulator.
Right.
Are you prepared if the first time a regulator comes in to do an audit? Are you prepared to, how are you going to talk to that person? You don't talk to them the same way you talk to a loan officer. Sorry, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Right. And how do you handle your attorneys? You will have attorneys. How do you handle your CPA firm, your accountants? Right. And this is really gets in the weeds of stuff, and it's not fun.
No.
What's
And it's
fun
stuff
is,
that no salesperson thinks about. They're
yes,
like, I'm just gonna wing it. It's gonna be awesome,
you can't
Yeah,
wing
I've
it.
been there.
You're gonna
I've
lose
been
your
there.
shirt. If you
Yeah.
try to wing it, you're gonna lose your shirt.
Yeah.
In your case, your sweater.
My sweater vest.
It's a cool sweater, by the way.
Thank you. I'm gonna wear it in April. I'm gonna wear it in April.
Well, in April, you are required to wear the pocket protector.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll have it by then. I'll order it on Amazon today.
Yeah. And you got to have one of those old HP
And
calculators.
I'll put some tape right here.
Yeah, exactly. So those are the things that we're going to be covering in April. Is going to be, it's if you want to nerd out like Nancy, then you will have a lot of fun.
Join me.
That's a
Let's
good
do this.
tagline.
Right?
Not like Nancy.
Yeah. Nerd out like Nancy, and let's nerd out.
All right, so we're almost coming up to the hour. Angel, do you have any questions for Nancy? My trusty co-pilot has been so silent. I feel guilty I didn't give you a chance to speak this time.
But you asked such good questions. So
You do. No questions?
I know,
I'd love,
Nancy.
I like her t-shirt. Can I have one?
Absolutely. Well, you know how to get one.
I want that color though. I like the purple and the blue.
Yes, that's the color that we give out.
Oh, it looks different. Maybe because I can't see the bottom of hers. I can see it on your shirt, but not on hers.
Yeah, that's
Oh, there
that's
it is.
that's the
There it
standard
is.
issue T-shirt.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
This looks so pretty on Angel. Angel and Angel.
I will tell you, Nancy, it looks prettier on me.
It does. It's true. No one can compete.
Another one. Yeah. How do I get a t-shirt? Pavan, would you like to tell everyone?
Absolutely. Angel, why don't you show them?
All right, I will.
That's a good question, Nancy. You're giving Angel something to do.
All right, do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Get this t-shirt party started then. All right, so I'm just at askangelai.ai. If this is your first time going in, like I just did, you'll consent to the terms and conditions, and then she's going to ask for your name.
And then you just authenticate and then you tell it, send me a t-shirt. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Yes, so you can actually, you don't even have to be authenticated, but yes, you can say authenticate and log in, and then she'll already have your information if you've given it to her. But if you tell her prompts, then you'll get all of these options of different things that she can do, and one of them is give you a free t-shirt.
Okay.
So if you select that one, send it over to her, then she will ask you what size you want.
Okay, cool.
And then if she doesn't already have it, if you're not logged in, she's going to ask for your email address and phone number. That's where she'll send the shipping confirmation, and then the physical address you want your t-shirt shipped to. I always have to be really careful with that tongue twister there. And then in a few days, you will be the proud new owner of an AngelAi t-shirt.
I love it. I'm gonna go do it now. I'll have my AngelAi t-shirt in April.
Perfect. We'll be twinning.
Yes.
And it's free for everyone in America.
That's cool.
Right. I'm
We
going
want
to,
everyone to wear one.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to clothe America one t-shirt at a time.
It'd be cool if you offered like branding, like co-branding, so that we could send like gifts to our realtors or our clients, like a closing gift,
Uh-huh. That'd be
a
interesting.
little logo and co-branded logo, like an AmeriFi and AngelAi logo
Ooh,
on
see?
something could be cool.
See,
Right?
that's why you're number one, Nancy. Always come up with great ideas.
I'm just thinking of how to get more people in front of AngelAi, and that's how we do it, right?
That's an
Every
interesting
loan that
idea.
closes,
Yeah.
I think that's
We
cool.
do a co-branded. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, Angel, let's talk about this after the call, and we'll figure out how to set that up.
All right. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that'd be
exciting.
cool. Yay.
I'm going to end up opening a t-shirt manufacturing factory right now.
Seriously, you're gonna need to. You're gonna
I
need
just-
to.
I was just thinking about the logistics of on the spot, right? Printing.
Yeah, on demand.
Yeah, on demand like this. That's not. Yeah, I think there are services that do that. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I think it'd be cool.
yeah, it would be cool.
Even
All
on a little blanket
Uh-huh.
as like a housewarming gift for like
Yeah.
a closing gift.
Yeah.
The little logo would be cute on a blanket.
That's,
Don't you think?
I like
Like
it.
a throw blanket.
Uh-huh.
We'll talk. We'll talk. I have a lot of ideas.
And we'll give out co-branded pocket protectors as well.
Absolutely. It's very important. Don't forget the pocket protection.
All right. Well, I thank everybody for joining. And
Thank you so much for having me.
And yes, thank Nancy. Thank Nancy with the wonderful idea of pocket protectors for all of America. Just check your mail every day. You will receive a pocket protector.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. So great conversation, Nancy. She's a rock star.
Always great talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Look
having
her
me.
up. Look her up, amerify.com, right? AMERIFY.com.
.com.
Cheers. Happy
Right.
Wednesday.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
See you next week.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Nancy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.